Hello learners, in this video we are going to see about what are the effects that uh, a sudden accident it may be happened due to any malfunctioning of BMS or any other uh, serious causes that leads to battery accident. So let us consider two case studies here today. So first one was happened on 15th March 2024. So the area is a city parking area which happened in India. Okay, so which kind of battery and vehicle is here? So EV SUV vehicle. EV battery is used here is lithium ion battery with the 45 kilowatt hour. Okay, so let us see about what happened from the initial stage. The vehicle was actually parked and it's not in charging mode, right? But after some time, it is being observed that some smoke was being coming from the electric vehicle under its ground clearance flow. Okay, so within very fraction of second the fire gets started, which is identified to be the initial origin at electric vehicle battery pack. So completely the you can see here the vehicle front side completely burned due to the fire accident. So the fire services were called, and after some time the fire has been brought to under control. Okay, so after this fire accident the route has been analyzed, and based on the timing and observations. So what is the first so as per the flow we can have this timeline of events that has been observed during this battery accident. So at 9:15 a.m. the vehicle was being parked. The drive was very normal and there was no any notable symptoms of battery pack to be get busted. Okay, so at 9:47 the owner noticed some smell is being coming from the underfloor of the vehicle and light smoke has been happened, and within a minute the fire started. Okay, for nearest to the battery pack area. So immediately within he tried to control the he watched whether it can be controlled or not, but once he identified that he is not people surrounding the car cannot be controlled the vehicle, he called fire service, and within 15 minutes the fire was brought to under control, and there was no any other notable injuries or accidents to other public. Okay, so the root cause is there was an internal short circuit. Okay, in one of the cells, because lithium ion cells are connected in series and parallel configuration for uh, uh, getting the required capacity of battery pack. So the investigation revealed that internal short circuit has been identified as was happened, and this is mainly due to the manufacturing defect in that cell. So this is identified the microscopic separate view with the analysis. Okay, so which leads to the major short circuit and becomes a battery pack fire. Okay, so even there was a short circuit, this was triggered by thermal runaway only. We know thermal runaway is due to the increase in mobility of electrons due to the increase in temperature inside the battery pack. So this triggered the battery accident, and this fault was not able to detect by the BMS. Okay, so this is why then why we are putting BMS? There was a question. There is a question then what is the purpose of BMS? BMS has to control this kind of accidents, or it has to alert some messages or alarms like that. But there was no any notification from BMS. This is due to this happened within very fraction of second, that is between the monitoring cycles of BMS. So this is why that's why BMS was not able to alarm. Okay, so the impact due to this high fire incident is damaged vehicle, then finally around 7.5 lakhs repair cost has been identified, and it is vehicle declared as total loss by insurer, and saved no human injuries in this case study. So within a minute, within 15 minutes, it has been made come to control. Environmental impact in the sense some toxic gases has been released due to the fire of lithium ion gases. So what is the lessons that we have learned here? So manufacturing of battery pack should be highly monitored in sensible way, and strict quality control to be maintained. Okay, so regular software updates and BMS optimization is to be followed, and cell monitoring algorithms to be improved as per the requirement, real-time applications. Then thermal management system is very important, and early warning signs usually it's being given by BMS, but within the monitoring cycles it happens so that only it cannot be identified. So emergency response and from service, that is fire stations and other emergency precautions to be followed in all the time. Okay, so preventive measures, so you should choose a quality supplier, and audit has to be done within the periodic time period, and additional cell inspections to be battery pack should be subjected to some additional inspections, cell inspections, and cell balancing should be done properly. The connections between the terminals of the battery should be clear. These are all some preventive measures to be considered. So this is another case study which happened on 22nd May 2024, the same year with next 2 months. So it happened at Bangalore, India. Okay, so it's also a mid-size EV SUV with 60 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery. In previous case it was 45 kilowatt hour. Okay, so so the incident overview we can see here. So driving range has suddenly dropped, so the customer reported even the battery is in full charge, complete drop in range happened over a period of within 3 months. So no warning lights has been given. So actually expected range was 420 kilometer for a single charging cycle, but it obtained was almost 50%, not 50%, less than somewhat 50 to 60% we have obtained. So 260 actual range, the customer was benefited, but almost another 260 means 520. So around 60 to 70% it happens. Then timeline, the timeline of events shows that at 8:30 vehicle received at service center. Within 45 minutes pre-diagnostic has been performed. So the battery pack analysis started at 10 a.m. and cell imbalance and capacity deviations was found during that time. At 12:30, within 2.5 hours, they have completely identified the cell imbalancing conditions, and it is started for cell balancing. So BMS was updated properly. Then within 4 o'clock, that is 3:45, test drive successfully completed, and the range improved the vehicle was being handed over by the service center to the customer. So the main root cause is, so the SIM balance, just before I have told you in the previous case study, at the end of the previous case study, cell balancing is very important. Okay, so 0.35 volt difference between highest and lowest. So this caused the highest cell to drive the lowest cell as the load. So irregular charging schedule and long periods makes the cell imbalancing. So BMS temperature calibration offset also deducted. These are all some of the root causes that was being identified during the case study, and the impact was, so the performance of the vehicle completely reduced. So around 38% of range has been reduced. So this makes charging cost to increase for the customer. So deep discharging increases the risk of cell reversal, and so it may cause very high thermal issues, which may lead the battery to burn out. Okay, so so what will happen to the customer? He will think about, why should we keep this EV? We may move on ICE, but the confidence can be increased on EV only by the performance of the vehicle with reliability of battery pack, not only battery packs, BMS also with the other features also. So the main impact here to be considered is battery and its associated controls. Okay, control. So the next corrective actions taken. What was the corrective actions taken? So after identification, the active balance cell balancing has been done, and BMS was updated for in hardware, and sensors was recalibrated. Then complete connectors and associated connections of wires has been checked thoroughly and tightened for all HV connectors. Thermal management system also checked for its OK condition, and customer was advised to recommend charging practices regularly and properly. So this case study gives us a lesson to maintain charge between 20% to 80% for better battery life. Also avoid frequent of or maintaining the battery in 100% for very long time is also not a good practice. Okay, so regular software updates also needed, and battery health checks at frequent intervals is very important. So customer should be aware about the electric vehicle education. It plays a key role in battery life. Okay, so with this let us conclude this session, and I recommend all of you to complete the quiz, online quiz, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me during the physical sessions also. Thank you.